Will kids be going back to class on Monday? The premier says an announcement will be coming soon as critics slam the Ford government for not doing enough to protect the school year.
We should not be in a position right now where parents have this much anxiety, where frontline education workers don't know for sure what's happening.
Liberal leader Stephen Del Duca laid into the Ford government, saying investments to ensure schools stay open should have been made long before Omicron arrived in Ontario, such as smaller class sizes, vaccine mandates, higher quality masks, and prioritizing boosters for education workers.
This is not the time to be cheap. This is not the time to be missing in action. This is the time to make the investments that are necessary. So if we want to keep schools open, we know the number one priority, kids have to be safe and our workers have to be safe.
The premier was asked about the fate of schools yesterday during a tour of a vaccine drive in Peel region, and this was all he had for parents.
They'll be having an announcement in the next couple days, but we just want to see how things go and obviously speak to the chief medical officer, Dr. Moore.
As parents wait for the province to decide, hundreds of doctors have signed an open letter to the Ford government calling for schools to stay open. Dr. Alana Golden says kids have suffered enough and we should be using rapid testing to protect in-person learning.
The test to stay strategy is a strategy where rapid antigen testing is employed on a daily basis or on a twice weekly basis in order to allow children who have come in contact or teachers who have come in contact with COVID to remain in the classrooms.
But there is a lot to consider. Manitoba, Nova Scotia, and Quebec have already announced that they are delaying a return to school by at least a week, while the United States is reporting a surge in the number of kids being hospitalized. New York, for example, has seen a five-fold increase in admissions over the month of December. But Dr. Golden says that doesn't necessarily mean children are getting sicker.
There's a rise in the number of kids coming to hospital who are testing positive. That doesn't mean they're going to hospital because they have COVID. They could go in for a burst appendix. They get a COVID test. It has nothing to do with COVID. They happen to test positive for COVID, and they're counted as a COVID admission. So when we see high numbers of cases in the community, we'll see that in hospitals as well.
So again, there is a lot to consider here. Many other doctors and scientists do not agree with that open letter and believe Ontario is not in a position to open schools without mandating N95 masks, adding more HEPA filters to classrooms on top of regular testing. Now, while many kids may not get sick from COVID, some will, and we're still learning more about long COVID when it comes to Omicron. Now, sources tell City News the premier was supposed to meet with cabinet today to talk about schools, but delayed that meeting until tomorrow morning to gather as much data as possible.